Okay, let's clean this up. I went out into a creek several weeks ago, and I took pictures with this camera. The Lomo Instant Diana square camera. And I took approximately, exactly, 10 photos using Instax square monochrome. I think that it was an interesting learning experience. I've taken a lot of photos since then that have probably improved a lot since these 10 that I took, but I still thought it was fun to document it, and I'm going to show you that footage now. I'm in the creek, and I'm about to shoot for the very first time actually fresh Instax square. I've shot it before, but only expired. Not that it really makes a difference for Instax. I'm also shooting black and white monochrome Instax square for the first time, and I'm going to use Diana. I think I'm going to put it in pinhole mode for the first shot, but it's just going to be. So for the pinhole mode, I don't really have a super accurate way of metering because my phone meter isn't that good, but I'm gonna guess should be about 20 seconds. We'll see what that looks like, and then I can move from there. 25 is really what it should be with reciprocity, but I'm doing enough guesswork that I don't want to blow it out totally. Tighten this down so it's not gonna move. Compositionally speaking, not that great, but the exposure was pretty good, if not a little under. So I'll probably use that reciprocity. It's like just square whatever it is if it's over a second, and apply that to whatever else I shoot. I do like this little metal barrel though. I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna try take a picture of that. I'll use the flash though, and maybe do like bulb and flash so I can get some like weird looking motion blur. I don't know, maybe this is a bad idea, but I'm gonna try it. It looks fine, not exceptional. So I'm just gonna move on and go, I think that way, maybe the other way, I'm not sure. That didn't take long. I just like walked not even that far from where I was, and I already see this cool tree, and I don't know, the rock kind of down here looks cool, so I'm gonna try and take a picture of it. Using the little 55mm lens close-up attachment, hopefully it will work. I have a vague idea of how close I need to be, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah. It looks a bit like nothing. I don't really know. I don't hate it. I'll have to see. I have to think more about it. Wait for it to fully cook before I make my judgments. I'm gonna go check out the tree that I see. So I'm thinking tree in front, and then background in the background, and like maybe I can balance with the flash illuminating the tree, and then the background being, you know, slightly mushy and blurry, but still like decently well exposed. If I do bulb and flash, I don't know. We're gonna see. I think I could do it. So, first one is fine. I think it looks good. But then I took this second one just like real quick because I saw this plant while I was making the time lapse for one of them, and it's perfect. It's literally exactly the kind of image I want to create. Is just this like faint, blurry weirdness. I'm obsessed. It's probably my favorite so far. So I'm going to keep going, and I'll probably take more pinholes because pinholes are easier, I think. I have historically, or you know, most of my time as a photographer, as an instant photographer, lately have been like, oh, I don't like Instax. I don't like Instax. I like Polaroid. I prefer Polaroid, which is funny because if you asked me why, I would say all the things that I usually complain about Polaroid for, like the temperature sensitivity, or the fact that, you know, Polaroid expires so quickly, and like the inconsistencies, like all those things which I don't like about Polaroid. Instax does perfectly, and that's what I don't like about Instax, which is very funny. But it's like, it's a little too perfect. It's really easy to take a good Instax image. And even, I have a slightly different take on the cameras than I feel like most people. Most people are like, oh, the cameras are so limited, they're so limited. And that's true, but they're limited in the fact that every picture you take is great, right? I mean, they're not necessarily great, but it'll be, if you use the camera correctly, it's pretty easy to take a well-exposed, sharp image. As sharp as you can get with a plastic lens, which for, you know, Fuji is actually pretty sharp. That's a glove. Hold on. That's really cool. Give me glove. So there's like a leaf on the glove, and that's basically all you can see. But it's okay. It still looks kind of cool. It still looks kind of, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. I am very much so like shin deep in water at the moment. And I'm a little worried I'm going to drop my phone. But there's not a lot of banks to like walk on. There's some here, and then as you can see, it just ends over there. So we're doing okay. Anyway, as I was saying before, I was interrupted by the glove. Like, Instax is, you know, too good in both the film's quality and also the cameras are designed to always give you a really good picture. And they're very well designed. I feel like there's a lot of hate towards Instax cameras because, like, oh, you have no control, and that's true. But like, you do get a very good image. They're good image making machines, and they're very well designed with the film. But because of that, you know, when I like instant images that have some like, either are uniquely good, like sharp as an SX70 photo, like wow, I didn't know you could do that with a Polaroid or with an instant image, or kind of strange, fuzzy, weird, like light leaky, kind of, not light leaky, but I guess sort of, but like the kind of look I've been trying to get with these, you know, long exposure with flash. That's something that I want to be able to make with an instant image. You can't do that with an Instax camera for the most part. There are a few that have bulb mode and stuff like that. But this can do that. Like, it has lens selection, it has bulb mode, it has multiple apertures, it has pinhole, like it has the whole 9 yards. So I'm kind of leaning towards this being the way to go with Instax, for me at least, because I'm not as hugely into the whole, like, okay, just put it behind a really good lens and like have full shutter speed aperture control. That's cool, but I'd rather shoot an SX70 if I want like glass lens instant images, you know? It is a bit ironic to me that like the entire point so much of instant images, or like the people using instant photography as an art medium, was the imperfections and the softness and the all these different effects, while at the same time now, several decades later, I'm in the water is too deep. Do you think I can make it over there? I think I gotta go back. This is a cool looking tree. Let me just get up on this thing. I'm doing some figuring out. Whoa, I mean off. Okay, I'm backtracking because it got a little too deep over there. But I see over here something maybe worth a bit. You got this like light coming in, sort of glowing from behind kind of look. There's some rocks over here, so I'm gonna try and take a pinhole, probably like right here. Maybe a little bit over here. I think I'm gonna do like 20 seconds again because the shadows are 5 seconds. Maybe I'll do 15 just to give it a little less so that it kind of has, I don't know. Meter for the shadows or meter for the highlights? What do we think? Because the highlights will probably look good blown out. The shadows would also look good crushed, in my opinion. What a weird way of saying it. Something a little different. I'm gonna take a picture of these plants. Long exposure, no flash. I'll try not to shake the camera because I have a tripod. So, will it work? Probably not. Exposure, good. Focus, good. Composition, it's got a little bit of headspace above the plant, which is kind of because I was trying to correct for the parallax on the viewfinder because I was close. I'm like, oh, you know, I can leave a little headspace because it'll get cropped out, but no, it didn't really. But it might work. It might work. I'm new to this camera. I'll give myself some grace. Feels great to be on dry land again. I'm gonna take a picture of this tree. These trees. I'm gonna try the like long exposure flash thing, maybe, but it might be a normal exposure flash because it might just be too bright to do long exposure. We will see. It's 50 millimeters on 6x6 medium format. I should have expected it to be wider than it was. It looked a little. I was thinking through the viewfinder, but the viewfinder is for the 75. I don't even think there is one for the 50. I'm confused by all the doodads in the Diana box, but oh well. It looks fine. It's fine. I'm pretty sure I have one picture left. I might have 0 pictures left. If I do, that's gonna be really funny. Thinking, I used to come out here and take like self-portraits and just like sit on the bank and like put the timer on and then just like, you know, take the picture. But this doesn't have a timer, so I'm just gonna do like handheld in front of my face, one picture, and then I'm gonna double expose it with, I don't really know. I'm thinking about the plants, but I'm also thinking about like just literally the woods, but I think I'm gonna do the plants because not really feeling like it would look as good with like a landscape self-portrait because then it's just like my face in the creek, which is cool, but like a little goofy. I went ahead and took the first picture over there, and then I'm gonna do it probably as close as I can get to these plants. Maybe, probably with the close-up lens. I have to figure out what. I might try and do it a little darker. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. All right, second exposure was taken. Now for the fun part. Just turn it off of double exposure mode. Wait. And then it did not work. Okay, hold on. We have a solution. I think I just take a picture, right? Cover the lens. There we go. Yeah, we have a photo. Anyway, I have 10 pictures. I have a second pack, but I don't really want to open it right now. So I'm going to take these back and look at them. I would develop them, but they're already developed. That's the point of instant film. I might scan them. I hate scanning. I might do that though. I might need to. I'll maybe save my other pack to come out here another day, or maybe just take portraits with it, because it does look good. The monochrome looks really good for portraits, but I got like a dozen color packs coming in the next week or so. So hopefully I can use those for some other purposes, general use, and maybe save the monochrome for something special because it's expensive. Okay, so we've got the images. I'll try and set them out in order in just a moment. And I mean, I did a lot of yapping in this video to discuss the different perspectives that I was trying to, have about Instax and how it's different from Polaroid and what I like and don't like about it. But in truth, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I certainly have had some reservations about Instax, which have kind of dissipated as time has gone on. I'm trying to get these in order. But I don't really know what motivated people to shoot Polaroids back in the day. Like, was it because they wanted a softer image or a more creative image, or was it because they didn't? Like, what? Probably people shot Polaroid in the 70s and 80s because it was an instant photo, and then you didn't have to get it developed, and that was just kind of cool. So, to some degree, I'm not really sure what I'm talking about, and I am trying to articulate things that I don't understand. But what I do get is my own motivation. I don't know about other people, but the way that I feel motivated to create images when it comes to Instax versus Polaroid comes down to what it is that Polaroid and Instax kind of are at their core, right? Polaroid, by default, produces, not going to say bad images, but like, they're not immediately very good. You have to work to get them to be sharp. You have to work to get them to be in focus, in my opinion. And that comes from the cameras, but largely the film, because it was great at one point under original Polaroid, and after Impossible took over, they have had some challenges. They've had to reformulate it, and at the very beginning, it was really terrible, and now it's gotten back to being good. But, when I want to make a Polaroid, I want to make it as close to the original as I can. I want to make it as sharp as I can. I want to use an SX70 or an i2 or something like that. And, when I do, I work hard, and I can get some pretty good images. Like, if you look at these, barring the color shift on this one and then sort of the underexposure here, if they're sharp pictures. They have a lot in focus. You can't see, but there's an airplane right there that is tiny but looks, really good on there. I should scan this, I guess. Anyway, but for Instax, I feel like it comes out good just regardless, right? You don't have to work for it. Here's some Instax wide images, and I mean, compositionally, these may not be perfect, but they're clear. They've got all you need to see in the image for the most part, unless you're acting dumb, and this was inside, so that's a bad example. But Instax comes out good rather easily with Instax cameras, and Polaroid doesn't. So I kind of want to make Polaroid as good as possible, and I kind of want to make Instax as bad as possible, and that's what I'm trying to do with this. And it's not quite that simple, but it is to some degree, I'm afraid, quite that simple, because I think I want my pictures to look different, right? And for the average viewer of a Polaroid, the way that I make it look different, in my opinion, is to make it look perfect, and you look at it and go wow, that was instant film? That's crazy. With Instax, I feel like you don't have to worry about that because it's already going to look really, really good. I want to decrease its appearance. I want it to look stranger, weirder, and less like, the perfect image that it seems like Instax cameras are designed to produce and naturally produce. And that's why I think the Diana is kind of a perfect camera for that. It does what it needs to do in that it lets you take images with some creative control, right? You've got all these apertures, and you've got, bulb and regular neutral mode. that's or normal, I guess. Is in neutral or normal? I guess it's normal. That's what I want to get out of Instax. Is something that gives a tool that makes it weird and makes it not as good, and that's more interesting to me than just putting it behind a perfect glass lens with every shutter and aperture known to man available, like on a 110A or B or a 4x5 camera. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm still trying to figure it out because it does feel a little contrived, right? It feels like, well, Instax looks a certain way and I want it to look the exact opposite of what people expect. And Polaroid looks a certain way, so I want to make it look, as perfect as possible because the average Polaroid, doesn't look that good. I say this even though there's obviously very, very talented Polaroiders that take... Polaroiders? I really don't like... Polaroid photographers who take really amazing, remarkable, clear images. I mean, there's people online where, you look at it and you're like, all right, cool. Sure, that's a Polaroid. Did you really take that? Is that AI? That's a feeling that I've had because there are some people out there that are so good. I don't really think it's AI. I think some of y'all just are blessed by Edwin Land or something. But for Instax, I don't know. I don't feel that way. Like when I see a perfect Instax picture, like taken with a 4x5 camera that's super clear, I'm like, wow, that's clear. But it's like at that point, just shoot Ektachrome, right? I don't see so much that's interesting to me about that as much as I do Instax cameras that have this kind of look. And maybe part of it is that like I just like toy cameras. Like I really like my FPP Debonair. But this is easier than using a toy camera because you get instant feedback, and it, for some reason, just doesn't feel as bad to waste Instax as any other film. And maybe that's why I feel the way I do about Polaroid, is it's so expensive. I want the images to look expensive. I want the images to look perfect, but Instax is cheap, so I'm okay wasting it. I'm okay images that look fuzzy or weird. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I hope you enjoyed. I will take more Polaroids, and we'll have more thoughts on them.